Hello, this is Anthony Weidman. I'm the President and Director of Clean Comedy Ministries, Clean Comedy Benefit Shows, helping those who help others. We want to share with you an interview that Robin did back in September of 2015 with Mr. Roberto Cheeko Nerey. And I think you'll be impressed with this video. He's a wonderful young man. We've been associated with Roberto for about a year, and we're really impressed with his knowledge, his understanding, and just well-rounded approach to life in general. I know you're going to enjoy it.
My name is Roberto Nerey, also known as Cheeko. I've been Cheeko for the past 25 years. A name given to me in the streets because it was always good size, and I guess it was meant to be sarcastic, and it stayed. So now they call me Cheeks, but for short, that's who I am. Originally from Mexicali, Baja California, Mexico. Tough neighborhood. At an early age, I experienced and saw a lot of things that created my mindset. It wasn't good. Prostitution, drugs, gang violence, the works. Came to the United States when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. By then, I was a mess. I felt that what I learned as a kid is what I needed to master so that no one would ever hurt me again. As a result of that, I became the best at what I did, which was the streets. I started getting into fights. I was basically someone who, was good at what he did. I've always been a leader. I just made wrong choices in terms of making work what I had. As a result of that, I grew up in a neighborhood here in Reno. Back then it was all black. So it was kind of neat because I grew up in that culture, and I met them, they met us, and I was able to grow in an environment where, there was challenges on a daily basis. When I was 16, 17, 18 years old, I realized that I had some sort of talent in terms of my athletics. I started playing football, I started wrestling, I excelled in both of them, but the streets had already gotten a hold of me. As a result of that, I started doing both things, but eventually on a dark night, summer night in 1990, I was involved in Reno's first gang-related shooting. I was sent to prison I was sent in charge with murder. By the grace of God, the person who was shot in the head did not die, but I was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and ended up in prison. When I came out, I realized that I was being sentenced and neglected and blamed for certain things that I didn't know, and I didn't want others to go through the same stuff, so I started getting involved on my own without being mentored with respects to making a difference. So since then, I've been trying to grow and develop in a way where I can help those that I sense I can relate to, those who have been or are in the same place that I was, and I feel like I can make a difference if I'm able to intervene. Because of that, I've been able to, meet a lot of good people, caring people, who want to get involved, who want to help, who have assisted me, up to this point in making a difference in the life of others. Since I started this, I've buried over 20 kids in terms of drug overdoses, over 12 who have died as a result of gang violence. And I've also, been an advocate for many kids who are from the streets and a lot of times are discriminated or oppressed either by, government or police or just, people in general. And I'm just that kind of person, I care for the less fortunate. And now, as a result of all that growth, it's been 24 years that we've been gradually moving forward in a nonprofit arena where I am now the director of GANG, which is a negative connotation, but if you stop and read at what the acronym stands for, it's positive. It stands for Guiding a New Generation. And now we have a boxing program. We have a shop where kids can come in and customize lowriders. And as a result of that, we're keeping kids off the street. We're teaching them a trade. We're giving them, tools to work with, not to mention working on their self-esteem and trying to make our world, a little better. So that's a little bit about who I am, and I'm here, to speak a little bit more about the programs and hopefully try to get the type of assistance and help that our organization needs.
How can we get in touch with you, Cheeko?
I have a cell number where I can be reached and an email. That number is 775-737-3353. My email is Nerey @gmail.com.
Thank you.
When I came out and I started becoming an advocate and an activist, I was able to make a difference in '93, and we boycotted to get the attention necessary of the city leaders. And everybody got together because of the gangs and killings that were occurring, and we built the 4th Street East Center, also known as GAP, which was Gang Alternatives Partnership. Well, as I started getting involved at a grassroots level, I was told by many people that if I wanted to make progress, I needed to get an education, something I never really believed that I could achieve. So even though I spent about 7 years at TMCC before I transferred over to UNR, I was able to get my associates in juvenile justice, my bachelor's in criminal justice, a minor in counseling educational psychology, and now I'm pursuing, now that I know what I want to do when I grow up, is go back and get a hopefully master's in Chicano studies. But I think that's important because when I talk to my kids, they don't believe in themselves either, and I would never expect or tell one of my kids or anyone that I work with that they can do something that I haven't tried or something that I haven't achieved myself. And they said that once I had that little paper, it would open up a lot of doors. It opens up a lot of doors in the sense that, it opens up your horizons. You become prepared, strong, and knowledgeable, not to mention confident in everything you do. But as far as opening doors, it all depends on on who you are and what you do. Because in my line of business, instead of creating bridges, I was burning them. As a young activist, I really never had a mentor to tell me how to go about and politically play the game. So, I had a chip on my shoulder, and the last thing since I was street, the last thing I wanted was to ever, presume or let people think that I had sold out. So I made some errors, growing up, especially as a professional. But, we're all a work in progress, and I've been able to somehow, by the grace of God, take bits and pieces and become, a better person. And because of all that, I think that now I'm able to help and make certain things happen that I wasn't able to do before.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us, Cheeko?
In my life, I've come a long way. Why I'm not dead, why I'm still here. I mean, there's a lot of questions that I've had, but I've overcome not just, my oath and membership with being a Sureño gang member. And I represented the color blue, the number 13. The Roman number 13 represents the 13th letter of the alphabet, which in this case is M for Mexican Mafia. When you make those kinds of decisions and join those gangs, there's no out. Even now, even though I'm a better man, I don't think I could ever be out because they watch and they see what I do. It's been really hard for me to get their approval and their respect so that they know I'm real, so that I'm not bothered with. But there's not a day that goes by that I don't live with that fear, because they might think that somehow I may give up information or talk and incriminate others. I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing that so that the kids have a choice and they'll become who we became and suffer as a result of that. But I've overcome that. I'm overcoming that, and I'm overcoming the fact that I was an addict for 28, 30 years. I've been clean this September 1st. I've been clean 5 years. And I just can't tell you how proud and thankful I am that God has assisted me and helped me, to have recovered. Even though I'm 44 years old, for the first time in my life, I feel alive. And I want nothing more now than to be able to, help and give others what I feel, especially since life is so hard, it's so tough, and people give up on themselves on a daily basis. But, if I can somehow get people's respects and show them that I've been there, that I've done that there's nothing that I fear except God, and that as a result of my trials, my tribulations, my errors, I'm the person that I am now, and I love who I am at the end of the day, you can't beat that. And I think that in my situation, who better than I than to be able to tell that story to those who have nothing.
All right. That's a wonderful testimony, Cheeko.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we want to thank you for giving us your history, your story, and your testimony. And I'm sure we'll be hearing from you again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank
All
you.
right.